Today I'm going to try to draw this spire in Bath, England, and yeah, I'm trying to draw another tower. I couldn't help it. We were wandering around Bath, a beautiful city by the way, and I was on the lookout for something to draw, and honestly, there are too many things to draw in Bath. It's just a spectacular place, but with all those options, I was feeling some decision paralysis. So after a while, I just sunk into what I know, which, as you know, is, well, something like this. I don't think you care, though. I don't care. I think it's cool. So let's see what I do with it. In classic fashion, I'm starting at the top. This video is just one big cliche, apparently. But yeah, I start from the top and work my way down. I think that method works well for me, hence why I continue to employ it. There's a lot more going on here than just the tower, but since the tower is what caught my attention, I want to leave as much space as possible to ensure that I include the whole thing, so leaving the bottom blank will help me do just that. You'll notice that the top extends right up to the edge of the frame, and by the end it will actually extend beyond it. But I've actually come to like that about these, and the more room I leave on the bottom, the better my chances of including more than just the tower. I would like to get the other components of the scene in, so I'm doing what I can in multiple ways to make that happen. As for Bath, as much as I would have loved to stay a while, this is just another day trip from Cardiff. My wife and I were actually here about a week ago, but we had family with us visiting from the States, and as I mentioned yesterday, I didn't want to interrupt their first time here with my own creative needs, I guess. I knew it was a short train ride away anyway, so I was happy to postpone. Thankfully, having our friend Rowan in town, which if you missed that from yesterday's video, please go check that out, that meant not needing to rely on a train because he was happy to drive us. So we grabbed a coffee from Society Cafe in town. We played some cards, walked around, grabbed some treats, obviously, and of course, sat down to give this drawing a shot. If you ever get the chance to visit Bath, I highly recommend it. I'd say it feels more like a town than a city, and the Roman ruins and all that stuff, it's just incredible to see in person. If it wasn't so expensive, I would spend a lot more time here, but alas. Anyway, real quick, if you're enjoying these videos, subscribe to the channel. This daily thing is a lot of work, so any support is appreciated. I'm having an incredible time making these. The drawings are markedly better than they were at the start, and I have no plans of stopping. If you've been commenting or liking the videos, or who am I kidding, even just watching them, thank you. It means a lot to me, and all of the positive feedback I've received, whether in comments or DMs or whatever, it has a huge impact. So really, thank you for being here. Right, so check out that tower. I think it's really coming together. I've struggled a bit with proportionality. Not everything is in its right place, but the essence is coming through, and that's what I'm after. I'm also feeling pretty good about my line work right now, not just with this one, but in general. I think I'm going into these with a bit more confidence, or at least like I don't have to be as conscious of every single line that I make. I look back at a few drawings from Krakow, and it seemed like I really tortured myself over the smallest marks, and I know that carried through to Talon as well. It's something I'm still working on. It's something I'm gonna have to work on for a long time, I'm sure, but it's nice to feel like I'm getting a little bit closer to not caring as much, which counterintuitively results in much more clean and intentional lines. Also, I've mentioned this recently as well, but I'm feeling particularly good about these casual little additions of shading as I go. It makes the whole process of a drawing a lot easier to digest when I can iterate on small things the whole way through, as opposed to finalizing a line drawing only to have to go back and analyze everything all over again. That can feel like starting from scratch, which is daunting. But also, it can be this scary tipping point, which I think I've mentioned. When I've spent all my time making something and I reach the peak of this one specific stage, that of the outline or line drawing or whatever, Descending back down into a completely different stage, so the shading or detailing, can feel like one wrong move and it's all ruined. So by iterating upon my outline along the way, I have an idea of what I'm doing the whole way through, and that gives me a better idea of how to approach the rest of the drawing. Additionally, this way probably saves me a lot of time. If I get to the end of my line drawing and begin the shading from there, I might not have allocated enough time to get through the entire drawing for a second time, whereas adding it throughout lets me decide what to entirely include or exclude based on how much more time I'd like to spend. This comes with its own pitfalls into which I often fall, but all things considered, I'm currently preferring this approach. I think it's working well for me. Okay, so it's been a while since we've set out on a nice long tangent, and I have a good one. So if you'll indulge me, I'd like to talk about starting over. Last night, I watched the F1 movie for the first time, the one with Brad Pitt, and I just realized how similar we look. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, someone said to his character at one point something vaguely along the lines of, don't you get tired of starting over all the time? I won't spoil the movie, but his character does seem to enjoy seeking out brand new things to some extent. And for a moment, that kind of hit me. I like to start over all the time, it seems. And I've only ever thought of it in a positive context. Having the ability or openness, I guess, to starting fresh, comfortably shining a light on my shortcomings, embracing my own ignorance, those things have always felt like strengths to me. But having watched this movie about a guy who, and again, I won't spoil anything, clearly is dealing with something which begets his restlessness, I suppose. That made me think about whether or not this trait I have is wholly good for me. The positive aspects are easy to see, but the possible negative ones, which I've pretty much ignored until now, are interesting to consider. So why am I so comfortable and sometimes even eager to throw myself into things I might not understand? Am I running away from something? Am I using it as a way to forego something that might be more difficult or demanding? Am I scared of being stuck in one thing? My best guess is, and this is coming from deep down, I'm trying to be as honest as possible with you for some reason I can't explain. I don't know why. But my best guess is that I'm scared of being mediocre at something I've put my heart and soul into. And by spreading my arms as wide as they'll go, I can pick up a broader selection of things at which I can become reasonably proficient, which maybe distracts from the mediocrity of just one thing. And when I say mediocrity, I specifically mean relative to how much time and effort I've poured into that thing. So for example, maybe on some level, I worry about whether the quality of my photos is commensurate with the time I've spent learning how to take them. And by mixing in the pursuit of some other skill, like drawing, I can kind of relinquish myself of that concern. I have an excuse, but I don't know. So maybe that's it. Or maybe I'm just greedy. Maybe I just want to gather up as many things in my life as I can and try them all. Or maybe deep down I want to be some kind of generalist, just skilled at a bunch of things, and maybe that's impressive to people. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter as long as the pros outweigh these hypothetical cons, and I think they do. I'm always trying to remind myself that I don't get a second chance, that this life is all that I have. And I know that sounds trite. We all intrinsically know it, but I think it's important to sit with sometimes. I like to think about what 80-year-old me will one day wish past me would have done. While my legs are strong, while my eyesight's good, while my drive is there, what will future me regret not doing? And how many things on that list can present me scratch off? That runs through my head nearly constantly, which is almost certainly what really pushes me to try these new things all the time. I feel the need to start over all the time, I think, because that's just one extra thing I can remove from that possible list of regrets. And maybe in so doing, I'm adding a few as well. Who knows? But yeah, thanks to Brad Pitt's disquieted character and a blockbuster movie for making me think a little. Anyway, I know that's a lot, but if you have any thoughts on that, I'd love to hear them. So leave a comment. And wasn't that exciting? So, as you can see, I've drawn in a lot more of the scene, and I'd say none of it lives up to the tower itself. After all that stuff I said about iterating as I go, I ended up not really having the time or energy for everything else in frame. Ironic. Regardless, I think I did okay with the perspective and proportion. The details are lacking, that's for sure, but I'm happy to see that I didn't make any catastrophic mistakes. At the last second here, I make a mad dash to include a few more details and some simple shading, but no matter how hard I try, none of it really lives up to the tower. As you can see, it's definitely the star of the show here. It's almost like everything from the foreground to the tower is out of focus, and the tower itself is the only thing that's sharp. I should re-record this and say that I did it on purpose. Actually, no, I don't have time for that. Overall, I'm happy with this one. I think it turned out nice. Slowly but surely, I'm getting better at this sort of thing, and it's all just really exciting. So, let me know your thoughts in the comments on the drawing and the tangent if you like, and take a second to like and subscribe. That would be delightful. Anyway, I appreciate you for taking the time to watch this one, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks.